Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe and Wonder Woman Burrito Callie, and today I'm going to show you upper body dynamics. This is the third video in my 10-day whole body wellness challenge, the moderate version. If you'd like to find out more about it, stick around to the end. So let's get started. Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert. For the upper body dynamics, you don't need any extra equipment. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the warm-up, and it's going to be a 2-minute warm-up. So let's just start with some shoulder circles going forwards and backwards or clockwise and counterclockwise. So with dynamic movements, this is more of you're moving the whole time. You're kind of going with controlled speed to get that movement. So you're not just static, staying in one spot, like doing a stretch, but you're dynamically moving the body to get it nice and warmed up and get it moving. So with these, again, go at your own pace. Let's do some arm stuff now. We're gonna do 30-second little blocks. So you go as fast or as slow as you comfortably can with those. We'll take a little short break in between those. And then when we go to the next exercise, we'll take a little long break, a little bit longer break so we can get ready and in the position and just kind of reset our muscles. So again, with dynamics, you don't want them to be jerky movements. You want them to be smooth movements, but a little bit quicker. So your heart's going to get going a little bit more. You're going to be moving a little bit more with some of these. So again, if you need to take a break or if you need to stop in between the movement time, feel free to do that. So now let's just do some shoulder squeezes kind of to get the chest opened up a little bit, because we're going to do some trunk things as well. Just kind of, again, now this is just the warm up. So we're kind of not doing any holds and we're going through, and that's kind of how the dynamic is too. You're not really holding the movement, you're moving the whole time dynamically. So that's kind of how that goes. And then for the rest of the warm up, just doing a little kind of seated trunk rotation just to get, again, all those movements in the upper body to get those muscles going as well. We'll start off sitting down with the upper body movements, and then we'll stand up as we get going along. So the first one is just going to be seated T's. And so it's kind of like it sounds, you're going to be making a T movement with your arms out in front of you. So again, if your shoulders get tired as you go along, take a little break in between. You don't have to do it the whole time. But if you want to try and do it the whole time, you can maybe go a little bit slower if you're getting tired. So a T, just opening up. You don't have to go too much further back besides just the plane of your body, but you're just going out and in, just making those nice smooth movements, no real pause. This is not a static stretch. We're not holding it anywhere, but we're just kind of getting these movements here. If this is a little uncomfortable for your shoulders, if you want to bring the T down just a little bit, that's okay. You can modify it some, but try and bring it back up as you go. So if you've already watched this a couple times and you know what to do and you just want to follow along, you can put the mute button on and put on some of your own music, because you know I'm going to be talking throughout the whole thing so I can show you some modifications and everything. So if you want to listen to your own music because you feel like you've got it down, that's fine. Just making sure that it's a controlled movement, so it's not so fast that it's jerky where I'm making the muscles uncomfortable. And again, if I want to take it down just a little bit, I can do that as well. So the next one is going to be with our arms up over our head, and then we're just going to kind of do a side-to-side movement. We're going to do some extra sets of these just because we're kind of going side to side, but we'll go alternating back and forth instead of just going to one side and then changing. So we'll get a couple extra in. So just arms up, over to one side, over to the other side. You can see I kind of like to follow with my eyes in my head. That just kind of helps with the whole upper body dynamic movement. You can see I'm not going over super far. If you want to get a little bit more of a stretch over there, you can. But again, remember, you're not really holding it. You're getting that movement side to side going back and forth. And again, if you
feel like you have to take a little break in between, if holding your arms up for that long period is really tiring, make sure and stop in between. Don't feel like you have to push all the way through. Or you can go a little bit slower. You know, as long as you're keeping it that continuous motion, you can slow it down just a little bit and then work on picking up that speed a little bit later on. So just, again, kind of keeping in that same plane of your body on the side. We'll go into a little more rotation next. And again, we'll do a couple more sets of those just because it is an alternating back and forth side. So back up. And then again, if you don't feel like you can go all the way over and you want to make the movement shorter, you can definitely make it shorter, just still make that continuous motion. So you're not going and holding this time because it's dynamic, you're continuously going back and forth. If this is still a lot on your shoulders and you feel like this is just really tiring, then bring down your arms a little bit, bend the elbows. It won't be quite the same movement, but it'll be just enough modification where it's something that you can do, because these, you want to be able to do them, you want to be able to accomplish them, even though this is the moderate level, you still want to be able to accomplish the movements. So again, if you need to kind of bend your elbows and still go side to side, that sometimes is a little bit better on the shoulders. If maybe you've got, you know, a little tendonitis issue or an impingement issue, this might be a little bit more comfortable than the bringing it up and over. So now we're going to go into that rotation a little bit. So we're just going to start up and then we're going to rotate our arms down. So same thing, we're going to alternate throughout the 30 seconds. So we'll do a couple more sets of these just because it is both sides, even though we're doing both sides throughout the whole movement. So arms are going to come up and then you're rotating down and then coming back up. So again, you can see I'm following everything with my eyes and my head just to get that whole movement in there. If you know your neck is getting a little tired with it, you don't necessarily have to do it. You can just kind of move more your eyes than your head, but this is really to get that whole rotation. So you want to move your trunk and your head at the same time as you go, making that movement in there. And then again, if you need to stop and take a breath, if you need to do the 30 seconds now, you're just taking a breath, that's okay. You just, again, go at your own pace. Don't try and wear yourself out too much, especially if you haven't been doing a whole lot, maybe sitting at home a lot in front of the computer. Same thing here. If you feel like this is a lot, you can just kind of shorten the movement, still get that rotation, but you're not going all the way down. So sometimes that's a little better. Maybe if you have some back issues and it's uncomfortable to twist that far. You can also, again with this one, bend your elbows a little bit to take some pressure off of the shoulders. So I'll show you with this one, instead of bringing your arms all the way up, maybe have them here and I'm still rotating and bringing them down, but I'm keeping my elbows bent and not bringing my arms as high up, because sometimes that's what causes that stress on the shoulders. So again, if you feel anything that's starting to get into that pain range and not just tired and fatigued, either modify it or just go ahead and take that extra break and skip those for a little bit. And so again, I'll do the full ones this time. And again, you can go slower and just do a couple at a time. You don't have to go as fast as I'm going. But eventually, you want to be able to make it a pretty smooth motion coming up and down. But if you need to kind of pause, reset, come up, pause again, you can definitely do that, and pausing and resetting each time, just getting that nice motion in there. Or pause a little bit lower and then come back. So now we're going to go into some standing stuff. So just kind of getting in a comfortable position. Now we're just going to do some trunk rotation. So with your arms, you can kind of put them where you want to. Sometimes I'll just use them like to bring my body around to give it an extra. I'm just kind of twisting this way. If you want to have your arms down and you're really just using your trunk to do rotations, that's fine as well. You might feel a little pop while you're doing this in your back, your upper back, or even in your shoulders or your neck area. That's okay. A lot of times that's just your body either adjusting a little bit or it's the fluids moving in your joints. I know a lot of people like to argue which one it is, but I think there's times where it actually might be one versus the other, but I think both do happen. So again, you can use your arms a little bit with this one doing, if I get my arms into it, I'm getting a nice bigger rotation. I feel that stretch in there, but you can see if you look at my knees, when I rotate over, I'm bending, I'm unlocking them just a little bit to get that extra stretch in there. And then especially if you have some knee issues, unlocking those knees really help as well, just to kind of get that nice movement in there. But you can see again, this is a continuous movement side to side. I'm not stopping and holding that stretch. That's more of a static stretch. This is that dynamic movement. Get your heart flowing. You might hear me getting a little bit out of breath. And it's not that these are big crazy movements, but I'm talking through the exercises. So that does make it a little bit harder. But again, you're just breathing through these exercises and going at your own pace. So even if you have to kind of, again, stop here, and then go and maybe do a little pause. Ideally you want to be moving the whole time with the dynamics, but go at your own pace and make sure that you feel comfortable. And then for the next one, if you don't want to use your arms at all, maybe your shoulders have gotten tired out a little bit. And so now I'm just going to move my body kind of just going like this, even though it might look kind of funny, but it's like, you're just turning around, looking behind you, making sure nobody's sneaking up on you. So again, and you can see I'm still kind of unlocking those knees just a little bit when I'm turning to make sure that I'm kind of protecting all those joints that are getting the movement in there. So the next one is just going to be a modified jumping jack. If you've done this a couple times and you want to go into the full jumping jack movement, that's great. Feel free to. But this is really just a modified. Jumping jacks are a lot harder than they seem. So this is just a way to modify it where you're really still getting that upper body movement, but it's just kind of adding a leg kick out while you do it. So, mainly just kind of stepping out. Don't want to step on my phone, but just kind of reaching that foot out as you go. So for this one, it's still the upper body is what you're working on. So I would think more about your arms than your legs. If this is maybe challenging for your balance, if you have some balance issues, you can just stand in one place and do it. And you can see I'm keeping my elbows bent for this. If you want to open your arms all the way up and do that, you certainly can. But I find that, keeping those elbows bent a little bit just makes it more comfortable on the shoulders. But if you want to make, big, huge movements with your arms, if that's comfortable for you, really swinging them up to get that dynamic movement, that's fine. You can definitely do that. And you can see I'm kind of turning my head to the side. I'm kicking the leg out. And again, that's getting, helping with the dynamic movement for the whole upper body. So your neck is getting involved as well. And again, those neck muscles and those shoulder muscles are usually the same muscles, just connecting on different ends. So it's nice to kind of get that movement going at the same time. And again, go at your own pace. If this is a little tiring for you, take a little break in between, take one of the 30 seconds out, go a little bit slower, still making those movements, but maybe not quite as fast. Even if you have to stop in between, shake it out, come up, again, take a little break. That's fine too. If you want to even do the arms a little bit lower, so you're still just making the movement, but not going into that bigger movement again where it might really either tire out the shoulders, might be uncomfortable for the shoulders. You can definitely modify it again by going just a little bit, just kind of bringing, you know, them up into that stop sign position. And again, if you don't want to even do the legs, you can just kind of start off with this motion, getting everything going, and then kind of working your way from there. So the next one can be done standing or sitting. I'm actually going to sit down to do it, but it's up to you. If you wanted to just continue to do it standing, you can. So this one is going to be kind of like the T, except this time you're actually crossing your arms across your body. So it's almost like you're giving yourself a hug, but in a dynamic way. So you're coming in and all the way across. As you can see, I'm alternating which arm goes on top. You don't necessarily have to, but definitely, you know, change it up some. You don't have to do it every time, but it makes a difference of that stretch that you're getting in the shoulder. So really kind of opening back up and closing in. So almost giving yourself the hug, but you're not staying long enough to really hug in there, getting that movement. And again, this is one where if having them all the way up at that 90-degree level, you can go a little bit lower. So this time I'll kind of almost going in a downwards position. Eventually you want to bring it all the way up. But again, this is a way to modify it so you're still doing some movements, but not quite going high up where you might really get tired or fatigue your arms out. So there's always a way to modify something. So if you don't feel like you can do something, always check in with your physical therapist because they can show you some ways to modify it, even if you just go see them for one session. And again, you know, make sure you're nice and relaxed and taking a little break in between, letting those muscles reset a little bit. Even if you have to go not all the way back out, so maybe I'm just kind of crossing out in front of me, so I'm doing this movement. Again, this is kind of a way to modify it. If opening up is either really tiring or maybe uncomfortable right now, you can really just kind of cross them in front of you. Again, this is really just to get you moving, get you not just sitting in one spot all day. So a modification is really just as good as you know, doing the full movement, because we just want to get you moving. That's the main thing. You might not be sweating by the end, but you'll definitely go, yeah, I'm glad that I did some kind of movements because I feel better and I feel a little bit looser and not so tight. But eventually, if you can, you really want to open your arms back up and really kind of, even if you want to touch your shoulders when you come in each way, if you've got that much flexibility in your shoulders, really to kind of get that extra push at the end. But again, you're not really holding it there, just a really quick pause. So the next one is going to be a little bit of the jumping jack movement again with our arms, but this time I want you to really do some deep breathing, some chest breathing, opening up the chest, really coming up and trying to lengthen that spine. So this is going to be deep breathing with a movement, so it might be a little bit slower. So I'm breathing in and breathing out. You can breathe out with your blowing out through your mouth or blowing out through your nose, whichever one you like. It depends on how tired I am at the end. You know, if I'm feeling a little tired, sometimes I like to breathe out through my mouth, kind of with my lips pursed a little bit. But if not, you can just comfortably breathe in. But when you breathe in, really take in that air and just try and lengthen that spine when you come up. So I won't talk as much with the next couple ones. So again, a way to modify this is, if this is uncomfortable going all the way up, still breathe, but not bringing your arms all the way up and over. eventually you want to get there. You want to get all the way up and over. But if you feel like that's a little bit too much for your shoulders, you've been doing a lot already, again, there's ways to modify it. So you can even bend your elbows and do it. Still getting that breathing in there. Kind of almost bringing your head down with your arms too, but eventually. And then relaxing and taking a breath. So, and you can go super slow. I'm continuously going through it, but even if you want to slow it down a little bit. So you can take that nice deep breath. I'm gonna breathe out through my mouth this time. So very different ways to be able to modify that.
So there you have it. Those were upper body dynamics. This is the third video in my moderate 10-day whole body wellness challenge. If you want to find out more about it, click on the link in the description below. If you want to check out more videos in the challenge, click on the playlist up there. And remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.